So let's try to do some hard example together. So this is your question 6. So first of all, we have a bracket, so we're gonna use our rule number 2. We remove the bracket, isn't it? So first of all, we're trying to use this negative. Negative just means -1. So we use the -1 times this -9k, and to use the -1 to times the +5. So now the negative times the negative is going to give you a positive. So now I have a 9k, and a negative times 5 giving you a -5 equal to 6k plus 4. So now back to the first rule, we combining the unknowns. So there is unknown, there's unknown. For those didn't is not unknown, that we're moving to the right hand side. So you're trying to move this 6k back to the left hand side becomes negative. So now I have 9k and I minus the 6k. So again, originally this is positive 6k, moving to the left will becomes negative 6k. So it's going to be equal to 4. So for this one, -5 moving to the right is going to be changed to +5. So now we can simplify it. So 9k minus 6k gonna give you 3k is equal to 4 plus 5 giving you 9. So that now it becomes like 3 times k equal to 9. I don't want the times. I'm moving to the right, becomes divide. So that k is gonna be equal to 9 divided by 3. So again, this is 3 times k. I don't want to times it. So I'm moving to the right, becomes divide. So using a calculator, you can get the k is equal to 3. So that's for question 6. So moving to another harder example, this is question 14. So for this one, it's actually a little bit hard because some of the students misunderstood that this is actually a fractions, and if you have a negative outside the fraction, it's actually the whole thing taking the negative. So it's actually adding a bracket outside. Okay, so now we can times this 4 to the right hand side first, isn't it? Because I don't want the divided by 4 moving to the right becomes +4. So originally it's divided by 4. I'm moving to here becomes times 4. So now we keep this negative, and then we have the bracket inside it. So it's going to be 5t minus 2 equal to, and I'm using this 4 times the whole thing, which is -2t plus 5. Now we can use our rule number 2. We expand the brackets as I don't want the bracket anymore, isn't it? Then we're using negative times 5t. I use negative 2 times -2 to have -5t and then +2. So remember here, negative times -2, we always have a positive. So similarly for the right hand side here, so we have a 4 times -2t, we have 4 times +5. So it's going to be giving you -8t and then +20. Then back to rule number 1, we combine the unknown, isn't it? So I move the -8t to the left hand side, I move the +2 to the right hand side. We're combining the unknowns. So now I can write -5t plus 8t equal to 20 minus 2. So again, this is -8t. I'm moving to the left hand side, becomes +8t. For this +2, I'm moving to the right hand side, which becomes -2. Then I can simplify it. So -5t plus 8t give you 3t equal to 20 minus 2 give you 18. So back to this equation, this is 3 times t. I don't want the times 3. Moving to the right becomes divide. So now I can say this is t equal to 18 divided by 3. So that we have t is equal to 6. Okay, so for the next question is going to be your homework questions 22. So the last question, question 22. So this is a little bit harder because you can see from here, it's actually combining two fractions together, but this fraction has something else on the top. So we have no choice, we need to remove the denominator, isn't it? So the fastest way is going to be you times these two numbers together and then times it to the both sides. That's the easier way. So some of the students only times 18 on the left hand side but forgot to times 18 on the right hand side as well, because we always need to make the equation be balanced, which means that we need to times the 18 to the both sides. So again, why we need to times 18? The easiest way to answer you is just times these two denominated together, and then you can get a correct answer. So now I times the 18 to the both sides. So similarly for the right hand side, we times the 18. So again, when you have an 18 outside the bracket, we need to expand it by times the 18 to both of them. So remember, this is a fraction. So this is we treat as a whole thing. We treat as a whole thing, okay? So now we're using the 18 times t over 2. So now I have 18 times t over 2. And then minus 18 times the whole fraction, which is t minus 3 divided by 9. So it's equal to negative 2 times 18, giving you negative 36. So now we can expand the brackets. So 18 divided by 2 will give you 9. So on the left hand side, we have 9t. And then remember, this is negative 18 times 9. We'll have negative 2 times t minus 3 equal to negative 36. So remember, this is a whole fraction. So don't remove the bracket unless you use the number times each of them inside. Okay, so now we can use the negative 2 times the t to use negative 2 times negative 3. So now I have 9t minus 2t, and then again, negative 2 times negative 3 will give you a positive 6. So positive 6 equal to negative 36. So now we can combine the unknown. So this unknown are together, but for this positive 6 is not unknown. So moving to the right becomes negative. So we combine this 9t minus 2t, giving you 7t. And then for this, positive 6 move to the right hand side becomes negative 6. So negative 36 minus 6 will give you negative 42. So again, back to this equation. This is actually a times in the middle. I don't want the times, so moving to the right becomes divide. So now I have the t is equal to negative 42 divided by 7. So now I have the t should be equal to negative 6. Okay, so ask me if you have any other questions.